What's going on, guys? We're going to be talking about how to run a faster 5K today. We give you guys 6 tips, but first I'm going to go ahead and feature my favorite comment from the last video. That was my favorite comment, and if you guys want to be featured in the next video, just go ahead and drop a comment down below and you could be the next. Before the video even gets started, please do me a favor and like and subscribe. We're really growing the channel, guys. It is awesome and I really appreciate your support. Let's get into it. Here's the thing, I just want to make a disclaimer because I'm just the boy. I'm no professional coach. My best 5K time is a 15:34, so I'm sure a lot of you watching this are going to be faster than me. And even if you're not faster than me, just take my advice with a grain of salt. It's just what I've learned over the past few years. I'm just going to be sharing with you what I wish someone would have told me when I was younger, freshman and sophomore and junior, and even a senior. But I did drop my 5K time from a 22:42 freshman year to a 15:34 senior year. So that's a pretty big improvement, and I don't know, I think that gives me a little bit of credibility. So let's get started with the first tip. And you know how to rep the best team in baseball. Yeah, I got a hole in my shirt, that's all right. Let's get in the video. Tip number 1 is to run more. If you want to run a faster time in anything really, you just need to run more. Basic idea behind anything is the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. Just like everything else, running is simple. You need to do more of it. 5K is roughly 88 to 93% aerobic. The aerobic system is basically just the body's ability and efficiency to use oxygen. So the goal with summer training is really to develop that aerobic system. I'm just gonna kind of walk through what I did from freshman to senior year. A lot of people have been asking, how did you improve that much? And what did you do? My freshman year, I had no real structure behind my training. I had no idea what I was doing. I literally just did whatever. I think I was running about 20 miles per week at that time, and my best 5K was 22 minutes and 42 seconds. Oh, hell no! At that time, what would have been a good idea for me would have been to incorporate a long run every week. I think my longest run at that point was maybe like 4 miles, so I had no idea what I was doing. And on a 5K race, 4 miles is not a long enough long run to really develop anything aerobically. Because at the time, I think I was just knocking out really fast runs, well, fast to me, but I was just running really hard, and that was really unnecessary because I wasn't developing the right systems and I wasn't doing enough. If I can go back in time, I think that could have benefited me a lot. In sophomore year, that's when I bumped up to about 35 miles. I got a little bit better training. My best time that year was 18 minutes in the 5K, so I improved a lot. I basically just started lifting, which wasn't the best idea. When I say lifting a lot, I mean I was trying to get swole. Didn't really work out for me. I actually got injured. I didn't get swole, as you can see. My longest run at that time consistently was about 7 or 8 miles, so I was getting better. I was still only doing about 35 miles a week. And at that point, I probably would have wanted to be doing 50, just based on, what I know now. And then junior year, that summer, going into my junior year, I did 50 miles per week. So that's when I really started learning, what I need to do as far as training goes. I still didn't have the perfect routine, but, I was learning on my own. So I started incorporating a long run, and I would do 10-mile runs every Sunday. And that's when I really started seeing improvements. The faster you get, the harder it is to drop time. When I was still able to drop down, my best time junior year was a 16:56, but that didn't really portray what I was capable of because the state meet was really muddy and rainy, and I still ran a 17:16 there. So I think I could have done better. Basically, the structure of my training got better. I started doing strides, I started doing longer runs, I started doing more runs, and overall my mileage increased. So I was really developing that aerobic system. Finally, senior year, last summer, going into my senior year of high school, I started doing 65 to 70 miles every single week. My long run was 12 to 13 miles every Sunday. I really didn't do any intervals compared to the other seasons. No really fast workouts until mid to late October. And that's basically becoming postseason for me. So you can imagine that's a lot of just easy miles. And that's really when I started developing my aerobic system, which is crazy because I PR'd in the 800 and the mile in practice on only easy mileage. So if that doesn't tell you that aerobic development is important, then I don't know what can. So what I've learned over the past 4 years, my biggest tip, just to sum this is a really long tip because I think it's the most important.
Okay.
Run more. I think above all, that is the biggest piece of advice I can give. Tip number 2 is gonna be the long run and the medium run. You only need to do 1 long run a week, maybe 2 medium long runs a week. Really, your long run should be about 15 to 20% of your weekly mileage. So if I'm running 50 miles per week, my long run would be 7.5 to 10 miles.
That just makes no sense.
If your long run is 10 miles, your medium long run would be about 8. So it's not quite as long, but you're still really putting in a good distance, putting in a lot of time. It's just another one of those workouts that's essential to really becoming an efficient runner. And it's definitely one of the biggest ways to get faster for a 5K is having those consistently throughout your training schedule. Tip number 3 is to get a GPS running watch. Personally, I use the Garmin Forerunner 620. I'm a big fan of Garmin. This thing has been through everything with me. I have almost 5,000 miles tracked on it, still working great. I think having a GPS watch is like one of the most beneficial things. It's just lightweight, it's right on your wrist, and you can always just, check how far am I going right now? How fast am I going? Kind of like your best friend. If you guys want to check out the Garmin website and Garmin's watches, there'll be a link in the description. Tip number 4 is gonna be consistency. It's probably one of the biggest things behind running more, and they kind of go hand in hand. When you're trying to get faster in the 5K, you need to be consistent with your training. There are gonna be 2 kinds of people on the first day of practice, on the first day of official team practice, or the first cross-country meet of the season. There's gonna be one guy or one girl that is like, oh, I hate this. I wish I would have trained more. I really regret not doing the miles. It wouldn't have been that bad, and now I can't go back. And I didn't train hard, and I just regret it. And there's gonna be another person that is totally prepared, and they're like, oh, this is awesome. I'm gonna kill it today. This is so worth it. I'm so glad I did all that training. So really, at the end of the day, you can just decide which one of those 2 people you want to be on the first day of practice, and you're either gonna be one or the other, so you have to choose wisely each and every day. Okay, and tip number 5 is gonna be incorporate strides after your workouts. In the midst of all of these easy miles, you really kind of become slow. And that's okay in these early summer training months, but you don't wanna lose that bounce in your legs. I don't know the word I'm trying to, what would that word be? Pop. You don't wanna lose that pop in your legs. So after a run, you shouldn't be so tired that you can't go out and do some fast strides at maybe your 800-meter pace. Or after an easy run, you just want to go ahead and find a nice grassy field or a nice soft surface and go ahead and do 4 100-meter strides or 8 100-meter strides, something like that, just to keep the legs moving. And it's not going to be anything too crazy or too taxing. You should actually feel better after the strides. That's definitely a great way to stay in touch with your speed without going overboard and without hurting yourself. You just hit the bonus tip section. When you're running so many miles in the summertime, you gotta eat more calories. I know a lot of people, they keep their eating habits even when they're burning an extra 5,000 calories a week. Eat more, but don't eat bad food. If you hear this, like, ooh, 5,000 calories, I got 10 cinnamon rolls on my to-do list. Basically, if you have good food all week and you have 1 bag of Skittles or 1 unhealthy snack, that's not gonna make you a bad runner. It's not gonna make you fat. If your breakfast, lunch, and dinner is Skittles and you have a salad on Tuesday for lunch, you're not gonna be healthy. Be sure you're consistent with your eating habits, and you gotta eat a little bit more, but don't add bad calories. And generally, when you're running distance like this, when you're running this many miles, you kind of have to have a lot of carbs because that's what your body burns as fuel. You just kind of have to audit your own eating habits and decide what's best for you. Tip number 6 is gonna be enjoy it. If you get to a point where you're not enjoying your runs, that's never a good thing. You have to ask yourself, why am I not having fun with it? Is it because I'm running alone? Am I running in the heat of the day? What's wrong and how can I make it better? If you're not happy, then it's really gonna be a lot harder to go out there and knock out 70 miles a week. Whereas if you find someone to maybe train with, or if you set goals for yourself every day, if you make something fun out of it, and that's what it's all about. It's just going out there and not necessarily training hard, but training smart. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. If you know anyone that's also training for a 5K, be sure to share this video with them. If you learned anything, let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later.